Hang on. All right, so this has been out for a little while. We're going to talk a little bit about this, but we're going to compare this to the kit version. Let's dig in. So let's have a quick look at this guy. Being the RTR, let's see what it's all got. All right, so what we have here is the Element Gatekeeper RTR version. This guy comes with the radio and all the electronics in it all ready to go. So let's talk a little bit about this before we start looking at the kit versions. Okay, so the coolest part about these trucks is the way they look, actually. I love the fact that they use an existing platform and kind of built off of it. That seems to be the trend with builders out there. They tend to want to like grab something and monkey with it and change it and make it into something awesome. But they kind of beat us to it. They took an existing platform, which would be like the Trail Walker, and they added link arms, making the suspension just super plush and amazing. So you get long travel. This is designed after the King of the Hammers Ultra 4 style truck. And they did a really good representation of it. There's a few little things that they had to dodge around, being they used an existing platform. The front end, I feel is a little long, but I know why they had to do that to, where the frame rails end. But we'll look past that just because it's such a rad truck. We're gonna open it up here. Pull the body pins out. Open her up. All right. So what do we got? We're dealing with brushed. Brushed isn't, for me, ideal, but it may do everything that you want it to do. It's got enough speed, and the cool part about this transmission as well is that it's got an overdrive system on the front, which really helps with climbing. Now, this comes with this rear suspension comes with a sway bar system in it, which helps for cornering, but not so great for the articulation. You can always remove that. I think there's some guys making a quick release system for this guy out there. Aside from that, the servo, well, what can I say? It's an RTR servo. I think most of us that have owned an RTR typically run into an issue within the first little while. It's probably the first thing to go, but it comes with it, and here it is. This truck, being the RTR, comes with different plastics than the kit version. And this is where they start to differentiate between each other, is the fact that they offer a softer plastic. I'm not sure how soft or how durable this is in comparison to, because I personally have never ran the RTR. But I don't see too many people with issues with the softer plastic. But in the kit versions, they do offer a harder plastic, and it is gray in color. All right. Okay, so this begs the question, what is it? And what does it do? What does it do well? Well, you kind of have to base your judgment on the King of the Hammers. I mean, if you've ever seen the King of the Hammers, which I highly recommend if you haven't, go check it out. They're kind of a Swiss Army knife of a truck. They kind of got to do a little bit of everything. They have to go 120 miles an hour across the desert. Sorry, Canadian. 120 miles an hour across the desert, and they have to climb steep mountains and rock terrain. So what do you do when you have to tackle all that? Well, you tend to build a truck similar to this. Now, some guys are looking at doing the IFS conversion. This is the IFS conversion. So this guy, let's see if we can get a close-up, can go in the front. So this replaces the entire front axle. You would take out this axle here, and this goes directly in, making this IFS. So if you're interested in the King of the Hammer style stuff, they do run solid axle and independent axle. So it depends on what you prefer. Now, independent tends to offer you a little bit more high speed stability, but you will lack a little bit in your rock climbing abilities. This being solid axle, you will find that it is a little less stable in high speeds, but you benefit for the rock crawling. So it all depends on where you want to tune your truck to make it the best. So it's got to do a little bit of everything, right? And that's the cool thing about it, is that it's not just made for one thing. Now, you can, if you want to go even further than just this guy and just a kit, or the RTR, you can jump into this. So this is the kit. Now, box is quite plain on the front, and we're just right way upside down. Okay. So this guy here is a chassis kit. So this comes with chassis, body panels, axles, no wheels, no tires, no electronics. With bare bones. And a lot of the guys that want to get into building one, like getting into something like this, will want to go this direction rather than this if they intend on doing aftermarket stuff. This is our shop truck. So what does this offer you that this doesn't? This offers you the better plastics and a little bit more room in your budget to go with the electronics that you intended to go with in the first place. So if you didn't intend to do brushless or brushed, you can go brushless in this instead of having to buy this with the brush system in it and then sitting it in your cabinet or your drawer where it's not going to do you any good. You can just jump right into this. So what did I do to this to make it rad? Well, I did a few things. First of all, Vanquish method wheels. Okay, and then I went with the J Concepts landmine tires. This is a fairly new tire, and I'm loving it. Downside, it's not a scale 1-to-1 tire, but nevertheless, very, very awesome tire. Really aggressive, grips awesome. Cosmetic, went with the 1-2 Mini RCs, their new 4-inch light bar on the top, and their Ultra 4 light kit on the back. Inside, I got some new stuff in here. Now, we went with the muscle winch. It's the Boom Racing muscle winch. This thing is amazing. So we'll get into this. It is free spooling. This is how the free spool works. You lift up on this guy and it free spools out. Now that it's out, it automatically locks back in. So the reason I have it loose like this is because it allows the body to hinge open without any issues. Highly, highly recommend this guy. Now, something we did really different in this is we eliminated the stock transmission out of this. The stock transmission has the front overdrive system in it, which is very nice, but I find for higher speeds and stability, I wanted to lose the overdrive. I wanted to focus a little bit more on the speed of this. So I went with the RC 4-wheel drive U0006 2-speed transmission. Now, this is intended for the I believe it was made for the Axial Wraith originally and the SEX 10. Surprisingly, this bolts into this really well with very little modifications. So the reason I did that is because, like I discussed earlier, the Ultra 4 style trucks, you have to split between speed and rock climbing abilities. So I wanted to have the best of both worlds, having a 2-speed transmission. Let's talk a little bit about what I've got powering this thing. So we've got the Mamba Micro X ESC. I 3D printed a custom housing for it in the back here, which sits in the back. I wanted a little bit more weight for the back as the battery and everything is up front. I felt like it needed some weight, so I moved it to the very back. I'm running a 1900 kV Slate motor. On 3S, this thing screams, especially with a 2-speed transmission. Awesome, awesome combo. One thing I missed about the lighting, I just want to do a big shout out to Hey OK. Hey OK offers these really nice LED lighting light sensors. So when it gets dark, we should do a demo of this. Okay, we're going to throw a battery in this. I'm going to show you how this light works. Okay, light is off. Light is on. So how this works is Hey OK has made this cool little light sensor. It interrupts the power, and when it gets dark out, the light automatically turns on. It also has a little dial in there so you can adjust the sensitivity. Man, this is the coolest thing. I know a lot of us either run out of channels on our radios or don't have the a light controller available. So this as an option is super badass. Highly, highly recommended getting one of these. We will be carrying these in the store very soon. So we've looked at my truck now and what I'd like out of it. But you know what though? Let's have a look at another truck. This is my good friend Sheila's truck. He's done a really good job on this with scale detail and stuff. So the setup is a little different in this than mine. I went for some speed. He focused a little bit more on the crawlability. So again, same race, same trucks, totally different setup. First of all, no sway bar. He's working with no sway bar, gives him lots of flexibility in the back, so he's going to be able to crawl like up pretty much anything. He is using Traxxas light bars on the roof and on the front. These are both from the Traxxas TRX4 Sport. That's pretty cool. You can integrate pretty much anything, which is really nice. So we talked a little bit earlier about buying a servo winch. He went the route of actually making one, and this is actually really cool. There's lots of videos on how to build these. I'll just give you a little brief look at here. So this is just a basic steering servo that he's cut open, put a spool in and some bearings, and voila, there you go. You actually have a very versatile and easy to build winch servo. Now you do have to get a winch controller with this. Some guys will just use the guts out of here and make something work. As for electronics, he's running the full size Mamba Max. What is this? 1900, same motor as me, so 1900 kV slate motor as well. So he is using the 32 pitch Robertson Racing metal gear and slipper pad. Inside this transmission, he has used from the Element Enduro Builder's Kit, the metal transmission gears. This kit came with plastic gears. I'm not sure why, but the Builder's Kit Enduro came with the metal gears. So this has got the metal gears in it. So now we've had a real quick look at both of these trucks, the RTR and the kit. What one's best for you? Well, it all depends on what you want to do with it. I think this truck has been the most underrated truck that's come out in 2020. In fact, for me, this is probably one of the better trail trucks that's come out in all of 2020. I think it looks good. It does everything that they've promised. The aftermarket support is incredible for these. Even companies like GCM making the metal front bumper mounts and continually working on some more. We got SSD brass diff covers. We've got the SSD rear weights for the axles and more. There's more I don't have, but they make so much stuff for these. Okay, so we've had a really good look at both of these trucks, the RTR and the kit version. So what one's better for you? Well, this one's got a really good bang for your buck. Let's face it, just out of the box, it's an amazing truck. Or the kit version. The kit version offers you lots of room for adapting different projects involved in it. You can go IFS front, you can go independent rear end, and actually put steering so you can have all four-wheel steer. As for where you run these, well, you run these in the bush and stuff, but I'll tell you, here in Canada with all the snow and having the open wheels, and the cool factor, the fact that it's also a scale replica of a real truck, so you're gaining the scalability and no body to collect all the snow. So this thing will fling snow. It's really cool. It doesn't seem to collect inside the frame at all. So we love that part about it. Hell, you could even slam a truck body on it, like if you don't like the cage, like Hemistorm. You got to check out the Hemistorm video with his Colorado. You put a really nice Colorado body on this. It looks fantastic. I appreciate you guys tuning in, checking it out. If you guys would like to buy any of this stuff, you can go to 110hobbies.com. Please get a hold of us. I would be happy to help. Thanks for tuning in.